Hi, today we will be learning how to use the UPSI model to help us understand word problems. Before we start using the UPSI model, there's one thing that we need to do. During the UPSI model, we will be creating strip diagrams. Today you will need a journal and a graphic organizer that looks like this. This is a graphic organizer on strip diagrams. When we're making a strip diagram for addition, we will have the parts that we need to put together or to add, and we're going to be looking for the total. If we look at our strip diagram, we have two parts, 5 and 4. If we add those together, I should get the total. The total is still unknown, we haven't solved. We know 5 plus 4 is 9, so our total would be 9. So this would be a variable, because we don't know it until we solve it. For subtraction, strip diagrams, they give us our total, which our total is 9, and we're looking for a part. I know 5 plus something is gonna give us 9, so that x is a variable just like that question mark. We know that 5 plus 4 equals 9, so x is actually 4. This is our strip diagrams for subtraction. In multiplication strip diagrams, we have equal parts, so we have the same number that repeats. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, or we can say 3 times 4 equals something. We don't know. That question mark again is our variable. Then we go 3, 6, 9, 12. That means that question mark, our answer is 12. Our product is 12. So in multiplication strip diagrams, we have the equal parts, and we're looking for our total. Now on division strip diagrams, they give us our total, and we're looking for the equal parts or equal groups. So on this strip diagram, we have 20, and we're going to divide it into 4 parts. How much would it be in each part? So 20 divided by 4, that would give us 5. So question mark again is our variable. There should be 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 10, 15, 20. We're going to need this graphic organizer in our journals. You're going to need to get a journal, put your name on it, label it math. Go to that first page. This is where you're going to add your graphic organizer. The easiest way I found that to put your graphic organizer there, fold it in half. You can add glue to this side of your graphic organizer and glue it there, and your graphic organizer should be able to open. I'm going to tape mine because I don't have glue right now. So I take a piece of tape and I tape it right here. Now I'm able to access my graphic organizer anytime I need it. If I open it, my graphic organizer is right here, the first thing I see on my journal. So this is where I tape my graphic organizer, and it doesn't stick out of my journal. So when I open my journal, my graphic organizer is there. I'm going to set this aside because we are going to need it in a little bit. Now we're going to use the UPSI model to help us understand this word problem. Our UPSI model has 4 parts to it. The first part is the understand part. In this part, we will read the question, we will underline, we'll circle, never mind. We're going to read the question, we're going to let me start again. We're going to read the word problem, underline the question, circle information that we need to answer the question, and we're going to cross out any information we don't need. The next part is the plan. And this part, we will plan on how to solve for the question. We will come up with what operations we're going to use. These are going to be add, subtract, multiply, divide. What equation we're going to use and how we're going to solve it. Now the next part is to solve it. Here we will solve whatever our plan is. We're going to solve it here, and we're going to check for, see if it's correct. And the last part is the evaluate. On the evaluate, we will check for reasonableness, and we will explain our process. This week we're only going to focus on the understand. We're not going to plan, we're not going to solve, or we're not going to evaluate. All we're going to focus is on the understand part of the UP-C model. So the first thing on the UP-C model is to read the problem. We're going to start with problem 1A. This should be in your packet. Follow along with me. Circle and underline everything I circle or underline. I'm going to read the question. A truck driver drove 5,647 miles in August, 4,739 miles in September, and 4,429 miles in October. In November, he drove 1,094 miles. He drove 1,094 miles, more miles than he drove in August. How many miles did the driver travel in November? So first, we have to underline our question. What is being asked? How many miles did the driver travel in November? That is our question. The next part, we have to find the information we need to answer that question. So we go back to the sentences up here. All right, I know that in November, he drove 1,094 more miles than he did in August. So I'm going to need the miles for November and the miles for August to answer how many miles he drove in November, because I know that he traveled 1,094 more miles than he did in August. That's in November. So I know this information I need, so I'm going to circle this information because I know that's how many more miles he traveled in November than in August. Now I need to find the miles for August. A truck driver drove 5,647 miles in August. These are the miles in August. So I know we need it because I need to find the miles for August. These are the miles for August. So I'm going to keep reading. We know he drove 4,739 miles in September. Now these are miles in September. I don't need the miles for September. I just need the miles for November and August. So I'm going to cross this out. This is extra information. We don't need that information. And 4,429 miles in October. Again, these are miles in October. I need the miles for August and November. So this information I don't need. So I'm going to cross it out. All right, once we've done this part, I know the information that I need and I know what is being asked. I need to find how many miles he traveled in November, and I know to find this I'm going to have to put these two together. I'm going to have to add them. At the bottom now, I'm going to draw my UP-C model. So I'm going to move it to the side because I'm only going to need one part. This is the understand, the plan, the solve, and the evaluate. Remember, today we're just focusing on the understand. We're not going to plan, solve, or evaluate. Now, to help us understand what it is that we're going to be doing up here, we're going to create a strip diagram. That is going to help us create our equation. This is where our graphic organizer comes in. We're going to get our journal and go to our graphic organizer. And I know we're going to add, because we're trying to find how many miles he traveled in November. I know in November he traveled 1,094 more miles than in August, and he traveled 567 miles in August. So if I add these two together, it should give me the miles he traveled in November. So I'm going to go to the addition strip diagram. I have the parts. I have two parts. I have 5,647 and 1,094. So these are my two parts. I know if I add those two, it's going to give me a total. I don't know what the total is yet, so I put a variable there. So I'm going to make my parts. This is 5,647 and this part is 1,094. And now if I combine those two parts, I'm going to get a total. I'm going to put question mark as this is the variable because I don't know what the total is yet. And we're done with the understand part of the UP-C model. So first, you need to underline the question. Then we circle information that we need to answer this question. So this is the information we need to answer that question. And last, we get rid of any information that we don't need to answer that question. Once we understand what it is that we need to do, then we would create our strip diagram. We knew we had to add, so we created our strip diagram. Now that you know how to do the understand part of the UP-C model, now I don't need you to try 1B on your own. Remember to underline your question, circle information that you need to answer the question, cross out any information you don't need, and then create your strip diagram using your graphic organizer. Now try 1B on your own.